Hello there, Alchemist, and welcome to my review of Atelier Yumia, The Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land. I want to preface this review by giving a huge shout out and thank you to Koei Tecmo for giving me a key for me to be able to play this game. I also want to share that this was my first ever game from the Atelier series, so I will not make any comparisons, and you will also understand that this was my first experience, so I don't really have any point of comparison. I don't know what the other games are even about, if the gameplay is the same or if it's different, if there are connections, be it in lore or even in timeline between the games. I know nothing about previous Ateliers that came out. Atelier Yumia was the first experience ever for me in this kind of game. So I spent 46 hours in this game. I played it on easy for a very simple reason. I usually like to play games on balanced, but right now my backlog of games is very huge. So I'm selecting most games, especially the ones that would take me a few hours to complete. I'm choosing to play them on easy because even though I like a little bit of challenge when I play games, I also have too many games that I want to see the story, I want to experience them, and therefore I decided to it's just a matter of not having enough time to dedicate to grinding and all that. And I will talk, so my experience in terms of gameplay may differ from people who have played it on balanced or normal or even on hard. So bear that in mind, I did play on easy difficulty. So Atelier Yumia is about Yumia, an alchemist that lives in a time where alchemy is basically forbidden or taboo in some way. So she's not getting arrested for being an alchemist, and people know openly that she's doing alchemy, but she's like one of the last alchemists that are known, and alchemy is frowned upon. You can see in the beginning of the game, even though she was welcomed into the research team, that she's being excluded by other members of the team solely because they don't know her and because she does alchemy. So even though it's very useful because she creates various items and materials, people don't really want to associate with her. So this is the kind of atmosphere that the game has. So it's all around alchemy and how it became basically a forbidden art in some way. You can understand that there was these big explosions, disasters associated with alchemy, and you will also, as you go through your investigation and through the story, you will also understand that there was a time where people relied heavily on alchemy, and they started kind of pushing the limits of what they could do, and everything was around alchemy until we reached this time, which is the total opposite of that. So Yumia joins the research team because she has lost her mother, who was also an alchemist, in one of these disasters related to alchemy. And she joins the research team because she wants to be useful. She wants to prove that alchemy is a good thing because that's what she was taught. And she also wants to uncover the truth behind these events. Do be warned that usually my reviews have spoilers, so as I talk about the story going forward, I will give you plot points and spoilers of what comes next, so consider yourself warned. The research team is huge. It has a lot of people, but certain elements of the research team will be the most present, the ones you interact with, and the ones who have actually side stories to them that you can do as side quests. You will first meet Victor and Isla, which are two brothers that belong to nobility. They will sometimes make some references to that, but it's not really proeminent in the way that they talk or interact with Yumia. But basically, they were also in the disaster that happened, and as they learn more about Yumia, they can see that alchemy is maybe something that can be used either for good or for evil. And Yumia is kind of on the good specter. Then you will meet Rutger. Rutger will basically join the team begrudgingly. The leader of the research team will tell him to just join Yumia's ranks, and Rutger is kind of presented like this thief kind of character. He is very tsundere in personality. He doesn't open up easily, and he does care about the other members and what they are going through, but he doesn't really want to talk about that. Rutger has also a very interesting story because he also suffered with alchemy, but he suffered willingly. So apparently there were these people that... So alchemy here is based on memories, and it's about taking the mana of memories, and memories can be from people, animals, the earth, or locations as well. So I understand that it's about memories. And there were these people that could sell their memories so rich people could enjoy them. So Rutger lived a very tough life as a child, and he frequently sold his memories of running away, of thrills that he went through, so people could enjoy them. And the concept is a little weird, understandable, but weird. And so he has a lot of patches on his memory, especially related to his childhood, because he sold the memory so he could have money to survive. But he is very fraternal. He takes care of people in his own way. He's worried about others. And it's interesting. Rutger was the only one I didn't do the side quest. For some reason I missed it on the map, and I unfortunately don't know a lot about his story. Maybe some of my answers would have been answered if I did his side story. Another person that joins the ranks is Nina. Nina is a very beautiful character, and she has a very interesting story to go along. So she's very mysterious. She fights with some kind of gun. So I'm not sure what kind of job I would say she has. She's a mercenary for sure. And she's joined the research team for her own reasons, because she also wants to learn what happened to this alchemist that she knew. And the reason why she wants to know this is because she's actually a homunculus. And that's revealed later on, and that was something that never occurred to me. It was a very interesting plot twist that they decided to do, because of course this is alchemy, so homunculus would be a thing. So this alchemist that created her actually wanted to bring back her daughter that died at a very young age. But even though she tried to recreate her daughter, and Nina is now adult, which is something that her daughter never grew up to be, when she was a kid, she was the spitting image of the doctor's daughter. But the doctor quickly understood that Nina, even though in appearance, and she used the memories and all that to create Nina, Nina was her own person and not really the daughter that she was trying to recreate. So there's this very heartfelt message that she leaves for Nina, where she says that she loves Nina for who she is, and that she was not exactly her daughter, but she still looked at her as such. And it was really interesting. I really loved knowing more about Nina, because Nina's story is very different and unique from the others. And then the last person to join is Lenia. So Lenia belongs to this race that I'm not remembering the name, but they kind of have like rabbit features. You actually visit a village that has these features as well, but from what I understand, Lenia comes from another part of the world, another village, and this one is slightly different. Rutger will very much look at Lenia because she does look like the youngest of the team, and she's very shy, and Rutger will just kind of become the big brother of Lenia. He will kind of adopt her almost from the get-go, and Lenia is weirdly more talkative when she's dealing with Rutger. the interactions between the characters are very interesting. So Victor is more of your serious type. Isla is the best friend, upbeat girl. Yumia, I would say that Yumia has also a personality that I like very much. She's more calm and collected, even though she's also sometimes a little funny, especially in her interactions with Flammy, the AI slash alchemic lamp that goes with her. Flammy has a lot of information and helps her a lot doing alchemy, and the cast of characters is just amazing. And if we are talking about the cast of characters, we of course have to talk about the villains. And the villains, my god, the cast of villains is so heavy. So you have 4 villains. You have Vesper, which is voiced by Takaya Kuroda, which I immediately recognized Kiryu's voice. So it was amazing. I was so surprised because I had no idea that he was here in this game, which is some kind of dragon-like creature. I didn't really understand his motivation. He's very dedicated to Basilius, who is the leader and I will talk more about later, but I didn't really understand why. Then you have also Lily Borea. Lily Borea also has a very interesting story. By the way, the voice actress for Lily Borea also does Yo from, I forgot the name of the anime because I didn't watch it, but people who know. And Lily Borea has this very interesting story where she was a human that was experimented on to become a mutant, and she hates all alchemists. That's kind of her drive force, but at the same time she's working with Basilius, who is an alchemist, because she doesn't really believe, but she's kind of hopeful that he will keep his promise of turning her back into a human. And Yumia will have this kind of, she will be very down about Lily Borea's situation because she's not sure that that can be done, or in this case undone, so she can go back to being a human. Then you also have Corleones, which has the same voice actor as Dio, which you will also recognize immediately. Corleones seems to be, how would I say it? He is very self-motivated. He's like, he wants to just be chaotic. I feel like he's the most chaotic of the group because he's working with Basilius' intents in mind, but at the same time it's like he just wants to do stuff because he likes to see the chaos brewing, which is interesting for his character. And then you have Basilius, which will be a character that you will hear a ton about, mentioning by the other 3, but he will be the last to make an appearance or interact with the group of heroes because he's basically the big final boss. Basilius was the governor of the world previous to the alchemy incident that basically plundered everything, and because he feels, I guess, some guilt towards what happened, he is trying to use a lot of alchemy and memories and mana to rebuild the city that he was a governor of, and he wants to bring back things just the way they were before. And because of that, you're not even fighting actual Basilius because this town was century old. You're basically fighting a homunculus or a clone of Basilius with his memories transferred. So you will see that he is kind of degrading, not the character itself, but like the ideals, because he wants to do this at any cost, but people look at the town and the town is not exactly as it was because memories fail, and he doesn't really remember things very well to be able to rebuild it. And the final stage would be to bring the people back, which is absolutely insane. It's very interesting, the drive force of this villain. Now, talking a little bit about gameplay, but before that, I want to leave that this game is very much, you reach the end of the game not really knowing if alchemy, it's one of those things where alchemy is neither good nor bad. People use alchemy and they may use it to do good or to do bad stuff. I mean, Basilius is not really evil, but he was trying to achieve something that's impossible at the expense of ruining other things like the land and people that are alive right now. So he was trying to, maybe in a neutral perspective, trying to do a good thing, but what's gone is gone and he can't bring it back. Which also tells you a little bit about the ending that I chose, because this game has two endings and it boils down to a final decision that you make. And I decided that I did not want to pursue the kind of alchemy that Basilius was doing, because I think that kind of power or that kind of godlike thinking is not right. So, about the gameplay. The gameplay is very simple. I really enjoyed, I loved the open world map. I loved exploring the map. The map is huge and I did not explore it fully. There were areas that I did not uncover because the story did not lead me to them and I didn't feel like deviating too much. I did some of the side quests. They were not really side quests, they were more like small missions that were scattered on the map that you could quickly get them done. After doing quite a few, because they give you a little bit of experience, I kind of got bored of them because I think they were too simple and too much like, oh, I need some medicine, I go craft the medicine, I bring the medicine. Oh, I need some cloth, I go craft the cloth, I bring the cloth. And it was a little bit repetitive and the experience boost that they gave was not really that much for me to feel compelled to do them. It's nice to do a few of them, especially in the beginning where everything is new, but I think they needed to be a little bit more varied and maybe a little bit more story built around them so I could feel compelled to do them. It was just like, oh, I want this. Okay, here you go. Yay. So I feel like that's one of the criticisms. But hey, if you want to get experience, even though it's small, it's a way for you to get it. Then again, maybe you will get more rewards just by fighting monsters on the map, and you will get a bigger experience boost from that. But even though you have this, you have a lot of things to discover on the map. You will get experience for uncovering landmarks, which I did not do all of them. But it's, you know, the map is a mystery and has a lot of things, and I would get so distracted by all the things that I could discover that I spent a lot of time, even though I did not fully complete it, I did spend a lot of time looking at the map and getting stuff from there. I will say that I also kind of have a pet peeve with the map because there were some times for even story missions that I was stuck because the map doesn't have layers, doesn't have depth. So I was going above the point where I was supposed to get to proceed with the story, but then I discovered by accident, because I was so tired of going in circles, I just decided to jump off a cliff. And by landing down, I discovered that there was a cave that I was supposed to go to. And that's one of the things I don't like that in maps. I've done this critique for Nier Automata because I also had this problem. And I also do it for here because it's fairly easy for you to get to most places, but sometimes you will see that the place you need to go is either very high up from the area where you're at or either very down. When it's very down, you can just jump off, and honestly, because of the mana energy that you have, you don't take damage, but you also have to manage that because then you have the mana bound areas where that is depleted. So you have to be on the lookout, but you can jump without minding the fall damage, which is something that I was worried about. About the combat is very simple. I would say and classify it as more or less a hack and slash. Whenever you encounter an enemy, you will basically be in this circle formation where you can dodge and run around the enemy in a circle. And you will do attacks like you have 4 different skills and attacks that you can use against the enemy. You also have the other team members taking part in the fight. You can select in terms of strategy who you want at the front of the team and who you want at the back. You can also, I think, switch them in battle, so there's that. There were a few times where I caught some kind of bug, like I entered the combat or the fight near a wall, and suddenly while I was dodging, I kind of climbed the wall and I wasn't even able to do the fight. So I think the combat works, but there were some times in the open map that there were some bugs happening. But these were very rare, like 2 or 3 times, and hey, I'm the bug queen because every single game I play, even if it's very well done, I get bugs, so take this with a grain of salt. Of course, in all, you have this very extensive crafting system. So you learn recipes, you recall them, you can do basic stuff like crafting materials, crafting furniture for either side quests or for your own house or places or ateliers. But you also can craft a ton of other things such as equipment and weapons. And I wasn't really using the crafting system for that. I was doing it for side quests and main story whenever they wanted me to craft stuff, but I wasn't really doing it for equipment. So I can say that on easy mode, I reached up until Lily Borea's final fight. She's not the final boss, mind you. You fight Lily Borea more than once, and then you have the final fight against Lily Borea. I was able to do the entire game up until that point with grind, bosses, and I had no problems, and then I just hit a wall with Lily Borea. She was doing a ton of damage to the team. I was doing almost none to her, and I will tell you, the fight itself, even with good equipment, is not easy, because that was the first time I felt like the fight was unfair, because she's so spammer in the amount of attacks and the wide area attacks that she launches. But it was a fun fight, a tough one, but fun, after I went back to the crafting system and crafted armor and new weapons with high levels for everyone, with perks, with... There's a ton of stuff that you can do in the crafting system. I will say that one of the things, even though I more or less understood the crafting system, I will say that it feels a little bit too complicated. Of course, you can kind of take this difficulty down by just doing the auto crafting, which you can either select, I think, quality, or there's some other stat that you can choose from, and it will allow you to just do that in seconds. It will autofill with the best materials according to your priorities. So yeah, it's fairly easy to manage, but for you to do it manually, I don't know if manually is better than the autofilling, but at the end of the game I just wanted to be over the final part, and I just let the auto fill it out for me. And I will say, the fights, so Lily Borea is the first fight where I really felt the difficulty spike, and then fighting against Vesper after that is not really the worst, but Basilius, I will tell you, I went back and forth because I was like, there must be some kind of mechanic that I'm missing. I think I was supposed to use Mana Surge, or that should be available, but I didn't know how to use it. At the end of the game, for the final boss fight, there's like a scripted section of the boss where you fight it in Mana Surge, but if that was something that was available the entire game, I do apologize because that absolutely flew over my head and I don't know how to use it, but I thought it was very powerful and it felt really good to defeat the final form, because Basilius cannot have just one form, the final form of Basilius in the Mana Surge, because it's just so very epic. And yeah, I think that's everything about the game. I really did enjoy it. I was recommending the game to various people because I don't know how to explain this, because whenever people stopped by my streams, I would say this and people wouldn't understand. I felt like this was for me the perfect cozy game because I don't know, the sceneries, the characters, the way you're just exploring the beautiful open map and open world that you have, and you're discovering new places, opening up treasures, unlocking the temples. I'm not sure that's the right word, but just doing all this, the crafting system as well, when you were doing side quests or small missions for people, I just felt like this is the perfect cozy game. As someone who has tried stuff like Animal Crossing, I like this so much more because it has the crafting that I enjoy. It has the beautiful visuals. It feels cozy for me. I was always waiting for the next opportunity to play the game. And it also has an amazing story to boot. There are some very tense or very emotional moments, like when Yumia loses her memories of her mother. That was a very, very tough moment for all the team. When at the end there's also some kind of sacrifice that Yumia has to make because Flammy ends up broken. There are very beautiful moments and very emotionally heavy as well. So I really recommend this game. I think it was amazing. After having this experience with Atelier Yumia, I will for sure be on the lookout for other Atelier games because I want to know if there are common themes, common gameplay, what kind of stories do they tell. So I will be very much looking forward to that. And once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone that stuck around for this review. And hey, if you want, check out the other content that I've made. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. So may music always be your life force.